You know what? I'm sure he's going to be here. You know, he said he was on his way.
Hey everyone, I'm sorry I'm late.
Go.
So glad you could make it, Jeff. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to present in front of such wonderful potential investors. Guys, I have the greatest idea. My name is Adam Rosenhart, and I'm here to present to you the next revolutionary idea in food services and dance partyism. What do you do at the end of a night partying on White Avenue? Where do you go?
Go home.
You don't go home. Shut up, Colin. Shut up, everybody. You go and find food. Because you don't have food at home. You live like a hobo. I happen to know this for a fact. So where do you find food? You go to a donair place. Mystery meat, mystery sauce, maybe a tomato if you feel like you want to be healthy. But what is missing from that equation?
Story idea?
Exactly, Jeff. And the story is disco. Disco donair is my business idea. It's hot, and it's fresh, and it's a dance party as you eat your meat.
Great, but you know we're waiting here. You know, for an idea so we can work on.
I really want to hear the end of this. This is a disco shop and a donair shop?
Colin, I can see the doubts in your eyes.
Well, yeah. Jeff, is he you're serious? Is he really serious? Like if this is a comedy pitch. Like
It's the marriage of beef, lamb, and dance parties. Like, I don't know why I need to explain this to you.
I think it sounds dangerous.
Why dangerous?
Because the floor will be slippery. Everybody's gonna be eating and sauce slidey.
We'll get special metal graded floors so the sauce can drop down to a subfloor.
So we've been waiting here
You've thought of everything.
for 3 hours. Jeff, we've been waiting here for 3 hours.
And I'm
waiting
sorry
for
I
Adam
was
to show
late.
up for this pitch, and he pitches us disco donair. Seriously.
Okay.
Personally, I would have waited 10 hours for this pitch.
3 hours.
You have struck oil, my friend.
Stop. Not the time, the place, the idea. Right? Yeah, we've been here all morning. Yeah, waiting to talk about stories and ideas we could work on.
Oh no, I'm ready to talk about this because, I mean, you know,
Really?
a disco ball made of
You're
meat.
gonna have some woman laying out where everyone eats donair off or no, right? That's wrong.
That's actually
That's wrong.
Let's talk about that after. I think we could explore that. I think that there's some potential there.
I'm just gonna say, you know, stop. Just stop. You guys, you want to talk about it after? Great. We're just gonna let you step aside. And I think Denise has been waiting. She had some story ideas and things we could work on. So I'm gonna give her the floor. Denise.
I had a couple ideas, but I think all the people dancing and having fun all together and enjoying company is much better.
The Edmontonian Presents is sponsored by Live Local Alberta's Dine Local, a listing of locally owned independent restaurants. live-local.ca. The Edmontonian Presents on ShawTV is brought to you in part by the Share Edmonton Events Calendar. Detail, updated online. ShareEdmonton.ca. The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you in part by Kyle Miller, Edmonton Associate Executive Producer of The No Agenda Show, noagendashow.com. The Edmontonian Presents on ShawTV is brought to you by The Traveling Tickle Trunk on White Avenue and thetravelingtickletrunk.com.
You're making a political decision by maybe spending a little bit more at the market.
Well, my dad spent 6 years getting the government to change the regulations to allow small wineries.
Just follow natural cycles on our farm and just make sure that all the animals are, healthy and well cared for.
Space and time, I'd explore galaxies with you by my side. We'd watch the sunset over the lakes of
They're concerned about A, their health and well-being, and wanting to reduce the number of chemicals in their bodies, and B, about the environment, because they're concerned about the chemicals, insecticides, pesticides, herbicides.
We're looking at food that is delicious, that is not genetically modified, that is local, and that is clean. That means clean hands and done ethically.
Have much in common anyway. Well, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I can
Have such an incredible farmland, one of the best in the world, in the deepest and blackest and richest of soils. But our Department of Agriculture is federally anyway, for sure, continually rewarding our farmers for exporting.
This is our 21st year of being certified organic. And we raise livestock on our farm: beef, bison, chicken, pork, turkeys, and if they're well taken care of, they don't get sick. And so the need for medications is really non-existent. We have a good time doing what we do.
So I treated myself. Didn't make much sense at the time, but in a way, my dream was right. Well, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I could talk to you all night, and I could stretch every inch of truth until it wraps around a line. And I don't know what I'm going on about, but I could go with you all night, and I could stare into your eyes until
More than the slow down pace, it's about education too. It's understanding where your food comes from and valuing it and honoring the care that it took to get to the plate, and cooking it yourself, and that can be a great family and bonding event, and it should be, actually.
The oldest wine is not a fruit wine, it's a honey wine, or mead. And the Egyptians were making it 2,000 and 3,000 BC, and the Chinese 7,000 years ago.
In the New World, which would be Canada. It's a little bit different here because we don't maybe have traditions that are hundreds and hundreds of years old with regard to creating and supplying kinds of food. And what we need to do here more, especially right now, is teach people how to cook.
The bars are spewing out all over town. Despite no, we can't go on.
And we told some students at Nate, we're actually going to do this in the fall, have a contest with them to see, can you open the can and make a meal faster than I can make one from scratch? Let's see who can make soup better, faster.
Two of us have only just begun to lead the fight, so don't you, darling, settle on this one, 'cause we closer than you.
Nutrition is one thing, but feeling good about what you eat is really important too.
People are happy that they can buy everything for a meal, from meat, potatoes, desserts to wine at the market.
People want and are delighted with meeting their farmers. They are thrilled to learn how to prepare their own food, and the taste is so incredible.
Sit back, hold tight. We'll use old maps to lead us through those county lines, 'cause the land of hope and glory is mine. So hold on, darling.
So we're not food experts, but we've been asking people what they think the Edmonton dish or food is. And food blogger Sharon Yeo of Only Here for the Food told us it's Eva Sweet Waffles because, as she says, that's way more than a food truck. Sharon says the waffles have been opening up Edmontonians to the possibilities that exist beyond the brick and mortar restaurant, that food could promote a pedestrian-friendly lifestyle and be eaten while enjoying the neighborhood surroundings.
I don't have a way with words, but I know that you deserve much more. Oh, 'cause half isn't quite enough to relieve the yearning in your heart. Oh, and just
part of the interest was to bring something that we love and see in Europe all the time over here for Canadians to experience.
you think, how could it be so cruel, taking a little part of you?
When I first met Bamir, he was selling waffles in Brussels on the street in a van very similar to this. And so basically I bought a waffle and then we went on a date and the rest is history. I think that there's going to be more and more new things out there, and we're very excited to see it. We're excited to be a part of it. I mean, we need more of a street culture here. We've always been saying it. We need more of a downtown culture in Edmonton. There's nothing wrong with the malls, but there's moving away from the food fair idea and onto the street, I think, is not a bad thing. Having more of that personal relationship and a social thing, going out on the street, buying your food, knowing your people, it makes it feel more like a community.
Joke, right? Like this is the Comedy Store, right?
The only joke here, Jeff, could you just please let me? The only joke here is your inability to see an amazing opportunity.
Oh, you're serious?
The Edmontonian Presents on ShawTV is sponsored by the League of Extraordinary Media, online content producers, leagueofextraordinarymedia.com. The Edmontonian Presents is sponsored by The Bike Heist, a bromance with bike heistery. thebikeheist.ca. The Edmontonian Presents is sponsored by the St. Albert Heavenly Rollers' first Derby game, June 18th. stahrderby.com. The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you by The Edmontonian, news, information, and events. TheEdmontonian.com. The Edmontonian Presents on ShawTV is brought to you by The Traveling Tickle Trunk on White Avenue and thetravelingtickletrunk.com. The Edmontonian Presents is sponsored by Live Local Alberta's Dine Local, a listing of locally owned independent restaurants. live-local.ca. All right, we're at Save On Foods, and here is our deep fry list. So let's go buy some deep fry products. We're going with the dill pickle.
What's the brand name?
Coon?
Good choice.
We would go for the Oreos, but the single O's are cheaper. To retain the brand name, we will get the new Oreo sippers, which I think are some sort of straw. We'll go with organic grapes because they'll be healthier when we deep fry them.
I'm gonna say let's go with the Oreo first and see if it actually sticks. They look like they have leprosy. They're like smallpox Oreos. Yeah, I think that's done. That's a finished pickle if I've ever seen one. I'm going to eat a grape. And here's a little known fact about grapes. When you heat cook them, they turn white. You see that?
That's not bad. Yeah, like the fruit flavor's changed.
Yeah.
Try and cut around the pit. Pretty much just tastes the same.
How about the
Oreo?
Oreo? Do you want to do the Oreo or the Oreo straw?
Well, let's eat this one and then I'm gonna try drinking out of this one.
Okay.
The icing's really gooey. It's kind of like a cinnamon roll like texture.
The thing that's really disheartening is that like first squirt of oil. Have you noticed that? But anytime I bite in,
enjoyed that.
I wish more food did that.
Still looks like a pickle. Bursting with pickle flavor.
It has such a weird smell.
It smells like cheeseburger.
Just for the record, I wouldn't eat this like straight out of a bag from McDonald's, so that it's deep fried really.
From a fast food restaurant.
From a unnamed fast food restaurant. I got a pickle. I can't believe you're drinking milk with this.
Milk was a bad idea, but deep fried cheeseburger is always a good idea.
That is one of our better ideas.
I think it's delicious. I think it does taste pretty much just like the regular cheeseburger. I think it has heightened the beef flavor, and then yes, it's crispy on the outside, which is weird. It's a weird texture.
Would you recommend it to unnamed fast food company for one of their future campaigns?
I hope to see this in restaurants this fall.
You know what? We could just do that at Taste of Edmonton next year. We could just go get a huge batch of.
That's our Taste of Edmonton booth. We will go buy other Taste of Edmonton foods, batter it, and deep fry it. And then it'll be but it'll cost you like an extra ticket because we have to make a profit.
This was always supposed to be an oasis in Edmonton so that you actually get away from Edmonton. So really nothing here is supposed to represent Edmonton. It's supposed to be like going away somewhere exotic and having that local drink. Although one that we really promote is a friend of mine makes this drink called honey spice, and it's not local, but it is made right in Edmonton with Alberta honey. It's his grandmother's recipe from Ethiopia, and just honey, cinnamon, and lemon. And it's a truly Edmonton drink made here and hopefully take over the world.
A lot of the shops in Edmonton are being really creative and coming up with great products.
The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you in part by this Edmonton dog. This dog knows good TV when she sees it. The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you by Vivid Print, more than just a print shop on White Avenue and vividprint.ca. The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you by Wuffnicks Magazine, handsome writing for a handsome world. Wuffnicks.com.
Hey, Adam. Yeah, Scott. Should you be asking me a question right about now?
The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you in part by The Unknown Studio, Edmonton podcast and blog, theunknownstudio.ca.
She was a lover of sturdy lumber with a crown of wild forest hair.
The man who drank a pot of coffee falls asleep. The boy who said his mind who didn't make it.
Taking over this, our approach was that we were going to be like unapologetic about it because, you know, it was ours and we didn't want to change too much and we didn't want to reinvent the wheel, but, you know, we just wanted to create something that all of our customers really liked and that we liked, and somehow, like in that process, it seemed to work out for everybody.
I think our customers are probably one of the most exciting and diverse crowd that we've ever been able to deal with, and I think that makes it really fun. We have a great staff, which is easier for us, and we have a lot of fun working with them.
Spades and chisels chip away the bed of earth from those who don't belong.
What I'm doing here is I'm just heating up my pan. I got one with oil. I got one just pretty much plain. I got my brioche bun that I'm doing. We get it from the Popular Bakery, which is a local bakery. We're just gonna butter it quickly, and I'm just gonna wait for my induction burner to heat up, and I'll put it right in there for a little bit. I have my halibut, which is Alaskan halibut. We dust it with a little flour, a flour, paprika, a little bit of garlic powder, a little onion powder, salt and pepper.
That's it?
Pretty simple. Yeah, you can kind of get a drip of water in there, and as soon as you start to see it bubble a little bit, you're pretty much ready to go. Okay. I'll put my fish in, and then it's always good to just give it like a little shake, just so it moves around. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna create that sear. Okay. Basically that crust. If you don't give it a little shake after, it's probably gonna stick. So I'm gonna cook that off. Basically, I'm gonna do about 1.5 to 2 minutes on each side. I'm gonna grab some cilantro aioli. Basically, it's just consisting of a little bit of mayonnaise, a little cilantro, salt and pepper, and lemon juice. So that's gonna be our setup for everything. I'm just gonna take it off here. I'm gonna turn off the burner, pop it onto the bun, and what we have to accompany it is a little bit of, it's called a caper coleslaw. So we take, basically I take some shredded cabbage, red and green, some shredded carrot, a little bit of mayo, some paprika, some chopped capers, and a little bit of juice, and a little bit of garlic. And we can kind of put that on, as so, and then we kind of are calling it our sophisticated fillet of fish. This is what kind of the name that we've discovered.
Oh, yeah, this is usually where the show sort of wraps up and we go to a musical guest. However, we had a lot of food stories to talk about. A lot of people wanted to share, you know, what they wanted to eat. We had a lot of great stuff to get to, so we're not actually done yet. We're actually going for an hour this time. Normally we're a half hour and this would be the end of the show. But no, we're going for a full 60 minutes. We're not completely confident we can make it. So, if at any point you see this, it means we're trying to waste time. We're trying to get to 60 minutes because we just didn't have enough stuff. We're pretty confident we're going to hit 60 minutes because there's a lot of great food stuff to talk about in Edmonton. Like cookies.
lot of the shops in Edmonton are being really creative and coming up with great products and trying to fill a gap that was there for a long time. Tim Hortons and Starbucks were your choice.
You know, we're not the only one here, but I hope that we lend to that culture.
The flavor, the roast, the quality of the beans, where they're coming from. A good coffee is also about your experience. So about the people you're with, the conversations you're having.
So what are the differences between espresso drinks and regular coffee? Let's start with the coffee itself. Compared with the coffee you're putting in your household coffee maker, espresso is of a darker roast and finer grind. It's prepared by pushing very hot water through those very fine grinds at a very high pressure, which creates a strong, small, dark cup of coffee that, when made correctly, should have a bit of foam or crema on top. Drip coffee, by comparison, uses grinds that are not quite as fine and is prepared by a slower drip of hot water, creating a weaker cup of coffee. And espresso drinks, we're talking lattes, cappuccinos, mochas, are made with one or more shots of espresso to different parts milk and foam. Some of the more popular drinks are lattes, one or more shots of espresso combined with a large amount of steamed milk and a small amount of foam. Cappuccinos, a shot of espresso, a small amount of steamed milk and a large amount of foam. And Americanos, the espresso equivalent of a regular coffee, a shot of espresso diluted with very hot water. Within these drinks there are a lot of other variations with some pretty intimidating names. But when in doubt, just ask the person preparing your coffee about your options. That's another perk of the independent store. Odds are, if someone has invested their time and money in opening a coffee shop, they're probably going to welcome the chance to talk about what they do.
I can talk for hours about coffee. There's a lot, and at any coffee shop, they're willing to talk to you. They're curious as to why espresso tastes different here than somewhere else. They are excited to try different things. So it's a little different than 3-5 years ago when there was Starbucks to go to and you went and got a double-double.
Well, we're small batch roasters, so we roast 5 pounds at a time. And we are seasonal, so we only bring coffees in that are readily available. We don't stockpile. Focus every week is this Saturday. So every week I start the roaster up every Tuesday, and it's back to roasting fresh coffees. That I do everything by hand. I don't rely on any electronics. It's all smell, sound, time for the roast. So consistency may not always be there because it is done by hand, but it's definitely an artisan type of way of doing things. We do have someone who does the buying for us. Unfortunately, I can't visit 14 different countries in a year, so we rely on them to bring in the best quality coffee for us. There's a few steps in between bean to meat, but definitely we try to bridge that as much as we can by being direct sellers of our product.
Try all the different shops in the city. There's so many good coffee shops in Edmonton. We're lucky. We're one of the few places that has very different espresso at a lot of different places.
We never realized how many friends we would make, and we're so grateful.
A couple strawberries, a couple of grapes. We have a couple of toasted almonds that we put on top, and a little bit of house dressing. And in our house dressing, it's a white balsamic honey vinaigrette.
Okay.
And we put that over top. And in our vinaigrette, it's a very simple. It's white balsamic. It's a few cloves of garlic, lemon juice. What else is in there? Oh, honey and oil, salt and pepper.
That's it?
Yeah, very simple.
The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you in part by Jay Runham, monthly film reviews, hourly tweets, and digital media. j-run.ca/blog. The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you by The Edmontonian, news, information, and events. TheEdmontonian.com. The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you by Vivid Print, more than just a print shop on White Avenue and vividprint.ca. The Edmontonian Presents on ShawTV is sponsored by the League of Extraordinary Media, online content producers, leagueofextraordinarymedia.com.
This is so awesomely stupid. I love it.
And here with Joanne Bateman from Wild Earth Foods talking about local food.
I think that when you're part of a really big chain, you don't have that flexibility, perhaps, that the independent retailer does. We can do that because we're small and we're independent and we don't have to toe the line for anyone. So we can choose our own suppliers and producers and establish those relationships and then carry forward with having their product in our store.
Shifting to that more local product, any problems you encountered with that?
Distribution is an issue. The farmers do a great job at growing what they do and producing what they do, and it's probably the biggest challenge we have is getting that distribution to our store, because the farmers know how to grow it, they don't necessarily know how to distribute it and transport it here. We have specifically flagged every local product so that our consumers know and they feel good about buying that product. We have lots. In the bakery side, we have Bebel Bakery, we have Italian Bakery, we have Sunbaked Pita, we have local pet food from Morinville, Arcana and Origin Pet Food. We have organic chickens and eggs and potatoes from Morinville growers. We have Pinocchio ice cream. We have meat. In our meat case, we have local Italian sausages from Ital Canadian. Sangudo Meats provides us with a free-range beef. I could really spend an hour talking about all the wonderful producers and suppliers that we're trying to have in our store so that we can have just carve that niche out that we are a store that provides local products.
food is a bottom line message. At the end of the day, that's what really brings the people together.
Our favorite part is pretty much I get to eat Persian food every day. Yeah.
My background is coming from an agricultural background because my expertise from the master's degree I got from Utah State University is about agricultural production. My specialty is in root crops and all sort of green herbs and as well as some of the orchard trees. We offer good quality fresh food which is lean, which is clean, which is green, which is also its own name. As it implies, sabzi means green, sabzi means healthy, sabzi means green herbs.
Yeah, from the day it opened, we were actually on our knees scrubbing the floors to painting the walls, putting up the TVs, installing equipment, doing the plumbing, the gas lines, and so on. I've seen it all. There's a huge Persian population in the States, but in Canada, not so much. It is growing here in Edmonton a little bit, as in the population-wise, but the typical Edmontonian, they're not very familiar with the Persian culture at all. So when they walk in, they're expecting to see what Lebanese restaurants serve, such as falafels, and shawarmas and so on, right? But that's not what we serve here at all.
We have these green vegetables which is full of antioxidants and all the minerals and vitamins which we provide freshly beside your dish, and we like to people see that because it's a culture that also it is very popular in the Persian food. Every dish that you find in the Persian cuisines, there is something green about it, or there's something green beside it. This is the Persian tea. It's a 7 different blend of black loose leaf tea with the crystal saffron sugar. And the tea must be served in a clear glass so you can take the full joy from the color, so as the aroma and the taste too. What you do, you add one of these pieces of crystal saffron sugar into your tea, you keep it stirring until it reaches to the desirable sweetness, and then you keep adding tea until it's finished. You can share it with your friends too in this restaurant. Usually one teapot serves about 4 of these glasses, and it's a culture. It must be in a clear glass. Everyone knows that it takes more than 5 years to establish a restaurant and also yet be able to maintain and sustain it. But fortunately, we have passed one of the most difficult years, which is the first year. Not only that, but also since last year when the economic recession started, and now the effect is in place, is in work now. Yeah. We are still maintaining and sustaining, and we are continuing. We have not made tons of money, definitely. But we have made enough to be able to continue, which is a good news, which is a great news.
I wanted to add a personal element to make these people shine through as real, like modern day contemporary heroes, people who are committed to providing good quality food.
The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you in part by Kyle Miller, Edmonton Associate Executive Producer of The No Agenda Show, noagendashow.com. The Edmontonian Presents on ShawTV is brought to you in part by the Share Edmonton Events Calendar. Detailed, updated, online. ShareEdmonton.ca. The Edmontonian Presents on ShawTV is brought to you by The Traveling Tickle Trunk on White Avenue and thetravelingtickletrunk.com. The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you by Wuffnick's Magazine, Handsome writing for a handsome world. Wuffnix.com.
Over the several generations that I've had contact with restaurateurs, it seems to be the common denominator has always been a steak of some sort. And it is Alberta. We do some terrific meat in this province. The 70s, it was steak and potatoes, meat and potatoes, and there's lots and lots of different steakhouses in town, like High Steakhouse and the Steak Loft, the Old Bailey, and these are all sort of old-time steakhouses in the 70s that Edmonton really, was becoming a city. You can't get away from it. If you open a restaurant anywhere, really, you need to have a meat cut on your menu. One of the things that we have done at the Marc is a steak and frite, which is a classic Parisian dish. We use a flat iron steak. We top it with a foie butter and a foie gras butter, as well as we serve it with French fries. Now, we wanted to pay homage to that classic Parisian dish and do it on our menu, and we knew that it would go over quite well with the Alberta tastes. Meat and potatoes.
The majority of the people were people I'd already worked with and already built a rapport with, so they trusted me.
And I wonder where they're headed.
Yeah, a couple of them were new. We went to Fort Assiniboine and visited some wild rice harvesters, which I'd never even really known that we did that in Alberta. I mean, I knew we grew rice in the prairies, but I didn't know you could get locally grown wild rice in Alberta. So that was thrilling for me.
But I was once told that you can never trust a lonely heart.
The motivation, how we put it together, making it very personal and more about them, was a way for me to highlight the people behind these projects, because I think the reality of being a farmer right now is really hard, especially small farming. I wanted to add a personal element to make these people shine through as real, like, modern day contemporary heroes, people who are committed to providing good quality food.
And I really can't complain.
Often farmers market is not designed so well, so maybe it doesn't have that contemporary attraction to modern design. But we wanted to put something together that was beautiful.
But I wonder every day and night if everything's alright, or if these broken dreams haven't stole you away from me, 'cause I can hardly sleep, and darling,
Yeah, I called them all up right away and like, this is what I've got now. What do you think you can do? And all of them were on board. I mean, Graham Sparrow from Sparrow's Nest Organic Farms, we're buying all of our carrots from him as much as we can, as much as he can provide. So he comes and brings them every week. I see him and his family, and I know exactly where those carrots are coming from because I've worked on his farm.
And I really can't complain.
It's easy to forget that you can go to the grocery store and buy anything for super cheap, but then you can go to the farmer's market and meet that person and just make eye contact and get to know your farmer. It's changed my world, and I know it's changed other people's worlds.
The Edmontonian Presents is sponsored by the St. Albert Heavenly Rollers' first Derby game, June 18th. STAHRderby.com. The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you in part by this Edmonton dog. This dog knows good TV when she sees it. The Edmontonian Presents is sponsored by The Bike Heist, a bromance with bike heistery. thebikeheist.ca. The Edmontonian Presents is brought to you in part by Jay Runham, monthly film reviews, hourly tweets, and digital media. j-run.ca/blog.
Okay, I'm only eating this pizza because it's a proletariat pizza.
Like the way we've done before. Sometimes it's tough times come along. Well, it's hard to hear the rhythm in the music anymore. And it's hard to hear the music in the song. Well, since we've been out dancing, well, it's been a little while. Money's tight, time keeps closing in. But I miss the way your body moves and the way it makes you smile. So best I better get you out again. I can't promise you my love and you gonna cover me in kisses. You can put on that pretty dress and we'll go out on the town. Be Mr. Man when you be my missus. We can can go off dancing till the sun comes around. Well, I'll take you to the dance hill at the closing of the day. We can dance until our feet can't take no more. Then I'll take you to the barroom where the band's wilding away. And I'll take you for a twirl across the floor. And I can't promise you my love, and you're gonna cover me in kisses. You can put on that pretty dress and we'll go out on the town. I can be your Mr. Man and you can be my missus. We can go off dancing till the sun comes around. When the lights go low and the dance floor fades away, you can say goodnight with a whisper and a sigh. But I'll see you on the other side where the nighttime meets the day, and we'll take another